In the proportional brushing example, one of the comparisons we made was sorting player positions based on the market value within a selection, so within Europe in this example, versus the players sorted based on their overall market value. So overall right wing is 4th in the world, whereas in Europe it's ranked 6th. Now, in this interface of toggling back and forth, you can really only track 1 or 2 positions to see how they change for selection versus overall. But wouldn't it be awesome if we had a single visualization that could just show us across all positions what the difference in ranking is overall versus in a selected region or team? Fortunately, we have a viz for that. So to show you an example here, we are specifically looking at Belgium in this case, and the view on the left is showing you the rank of different player positions. So center forward is ranked number 1 in the world, center back is number 2, and then we can see which positions are ranked 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and so forth in Belgium. So in Belgium, left wing is the top ranked position, which is ranked 5th in the world overall, while center forward is their 2nd position, and that is the top ranked position in the world in general. And then the biggest difference here is in right wing, which is 9th place in Belgium, while it's 4th place overall in the world. So then as you select different countries, you can see different comparisons. So in France, specifically here, the 2nd and 3rd positions are the same as the world overall, whereas the 1st and 4th positions have swapped. So let's go and build this example, continuing on from where we left off in the proportional brushing tutorial. The reason I'm continuing on from that video is to show you how we've already created the calculations, we've already created the set, and so you can reuse that same calculation and that same set configuration to build many different types of visualizations. And in all cases, the selection will remain synchronized across different dashboards. So, continuing on from this example here, the first thing we want to build is that bar chart on the right-hand side, which gives you your market value within a selection broken out by player positions. Now recall that we created this calculation in the previous tutorial, so where we conditionally return the market value for teams that are in our set. So we're going to take that and then break this down by different player positions. So let's just go and fit this to the entire view here. And so specifically the objective is to rank the market value within a selection, rank the market value overall, and then compute the difference between those 2 ranks. So I'm going to duplicate this here by holding down Control, and then I'm going to add a rank quick table calculation onto that. And then we also need to compute the rank along the overall market value. So in that case, you want to grab the original market value field, so not the calculation, and then go and add a rank table calculation on top of that one as well. So you can see that they're close but not identical. And so then the difference in rank is going to be the rank overall, subtract from that the rank of your selection. And so at the moment, these 3 things here are just local calculations that exist in this one visualization. We want to persist them or store them in our data model so that we can use them in other sheets as well. So I'm going to just hold down Control and drag this over here. So this is my rank for the selection. Then the second one here, adding this in, is going to be the rank overall. And then this third one here is going to be the difference in the rank. And so I actually don't need these 2 calcs here. They're sort of just intermediate calcs for at this point. And then I want to color by the difference in rank. So I'm going to drop this from columns onto the marks card, and now it's going to color by that. So you can then go, if you want, and change the color to be, red, blue, centered at 0. And so then just a couple of formatting things. We want to hide the axes, both axes in fact, and then I'm just going to hold down Control to bring the position to the label. And so there we have the first part of our view. Let's call these things, they look like angel wings. So we have our right angel wing. So now we need to go make our left wing. And so that view is the total market value split up by player position. So grab your original market value field and then break that down by player position. And then we'll go and sort these as well. So the trick with this one is to reverse the axis in the other direction. So just type into the column shelf and then stick a negative sign in front, and that reverses your axes. Now you'll see it's showing a negative market value in the tooltip, which doesn't make sense, so just remove it from there. Then you can pop the correct market value on your tooltip, and then you still see, reasonable things as you're hovering over the marks. So same thing here, we want to hide our headers and then just label it by the player position. Okay, so now we want to make that crisscross view that shows you the difference between the rankings in these two the selection versus overall. So in this view here, we want to grab both of our ranks, so the rank overall and the rank for the selection, and put them both on the same axes. Now, in this case, we don't want a bar, we want that to be a line chart, and then we want to break it down by position. So at the moment, everything is ranked 1 because it's just computing within the cell itself, and so we want to compute this along the position for both cases, and then you get your sort of comparative view. I should reorder these so you can just reorder them directly in the shelf. So I want the overall rank to be the one furthest to the left. And then we want our highest ranks to be at the top. So you can just right click on this axis and reverse the axis so rank 1 goes up to the top. Okay, and so then we're going to want to just hide this, both of the axes. And then if you want to label the rank, just hold down Control, duplicate measure values, and then bring that onto your label. And so then your difference in rank, drop that on color, and then once again just compute that using the position. And so we can go make this also, your sort of red-blue diverging. And so now you can see that it's red wherever the overall is higher than your selection. And so finally now we want to bring all of these together in a dashboard. So let me go make this just automatic. And so I'll bring in our two wings, and then let's bring in that center piece here that shows the difference. And then we can reuse our same original map that we'd built in a previous tutorial here. And so let's go and just remove all these little legends here. So at the moment, this is now static. So everything I've done so far, this was all previously possible before 2018.3. But of course, the thing that makes it now useful and valuable is that as you pick a team, it should update your reference point and who you're comparing this to. So that's where the set action comes into play, is that we can now dynamically change our reference or comparative team. So we'll do that through a set action, so dashboard actions, and then change set values. And so specifically here, we want to just keep the market value by country and then target the team set on selection. So now as we go and pick a different team, it's going to update and show you each the comparison of now Russia's top ranking teams versus the rest of the world. Now, something interesting to just note here is that as I'm making a selection here, it's really only updating one axis of this view. So everything on this left axis here is remaining constant. So one way that you can think about, while the colors are changing, the actual positions are not. So one way that you can think about set actions is like an axis level filter as opposed to a sheet level filter, and that is super useful for making comparisons and benchmarking. And our next example, in fact, is going to be exactly that, a benchmarking example.